That's right.
All right, we're live, guys and ladies and folks. All right, call the work session for July 15th to order. Mr. Bowen, do you feel like giving an vacation? You ought to be refreshed after your vacation.
That's good. I think let's go to the Father. Lord, again, we thank you for this time. We can come back together again. We do like thank you for such some of the rain that some people got, but others didn't. Father, we know your ways and our ways. We do thank you for that moment that we've had when we can't get away from things and go on vacation. And we see a lot of the things that you have made, but we haven't messed up yet. And we're thankful for that as well. God, we just ask you, be with us now. Lead us and guide us. In Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Will you stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all for that. This is a work session again, folks. I need an approval for tonight's agenda.
Make that motion.
Can we get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Steve, you and Commissioner Revenue was more than willing to join us tonight. We got a couple of items we want to go through while we got her here instead of holding her here through the whole meeting, but we'll start with the PPTR percentage discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Christy came out of office today and tried to explain to me about how this thing works. Now, this sheet is also in your package. It's under I-3, I think. I can't remember. Ms. Kelly helped me with that, but this is in your package. I just wanted y'all to kind of understand this 32.5% and how she came up with it. And I thought maybe we could give maybe a quick PPTR percentage discussion 101. Maybe Christy, like you gave me.
That's the right place, Steve.
Oh, it's not.
I don't think so.
Okay, here's the sheet.
But
Sheets
I got the sheets.
right here, right?
Okay. I thought it was I-3.
I don't know.
No, it's not. It's real estate abatement programs I-3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember where I found it earlier today. I'll flip through the pages.
Which page is?
Pass that down. There you go, Chris.
Well, I have a copy.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's got a copy.
Yeah,
I brought mine.
Right here, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Second page.
All right, what do you want me to do?
If you could explain how you came up with the 32.5, because this has the relief, and that's basically it's just this is really just information. They don't have to vote on this or anything.
No,
I
no.
just want y'all kind of understand it. That's all.
All right, I came up with 32.5% for the PPTR, and that's exactly where it should be. The state reimburses us $1,049,790 every year for our PPTR. If we use the 32.5%, we are going to give out $1,047,885.85 in relief, which is going to come in a little less than what the state is reimbursing by $1,904.15. But that's okay, because if I have some supplements that need to be done, we have a little bit more money to play with, and those things. So I can rework it, but I'm telling you, if we were to go up to 33%, it would be $14,000 over.
Okay.
Right.
And even at 32.6, I didn't bring that, but it took it over.
Okay.
So the 32.5 is where it actually should be.
So basically, you take Christy, how did you show me this? Like, you take the first $20,000 on a vehicle.
Yes, it's only on the first 20,000. So if your vehicle is assessed at, let's say, 57,024. So the first 20 is only going to get it. And it only takes off $243.75. And then you would take that other 37,024 and multiply that by the rate of 375 and add that to.
Right. So when we said our personal property tax was 375, that's after the tax relief, right? I say that? No, you didn't say it right. That's what it says. That's why I hate
No,
it here.
Okay, so you're gonna take, let's do it this way, 14,975. That's under the 20,000. You multiply that by 3.75. You get $561.56. You take that and multiply that by 32.5. That's $182.50. That's your tax relief. The 182.50. You subtract that from your 561.56. You're gonna pay 379.06. So it works the same way with something that's more than 20,000. You take 20,000, multiply that by 375, it comes to $750. 32.5% from that is $243.75 relief. And then you take the remainder over the 20,000, multiply that by 375, and then add those two together. And that's what your tax is.
Is the state reducing that over time? Is it staying the same over
It's the
time?
same, and it's been the same since, I can't remember the
The
date.
governor of Illinois.
Yes. But I can't
We
remember
don't
the
have to.
date. We don't have to, no. No, it's always 1,049,700.
All right, and that was just so y'all know, how that tax relief. Thank you, Kristen.
You're welcome.
All right, guys.
Christie, nobody could get smarter with the percentage and get to go up on the 32.5 to make it more accurate to regain their $1,904.15.
I need a little wiggle room in case we have supplements,
Okay.
because we
So you
do,
got it close enough?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Does everybody know Miss Bryant?
Hello.
Hello,
I
Brian.
do, I do.
All right, well, do y'all have any more questions on that then? If not, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the blight ordinance while we still have Kristen here as well.
Are y'all okay? with it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And we don't need to vote on anything on that, right, Kristen?
No, you don't.
Yeah, your office sets that.
I do, but I'm just like, I want, wanted to let you
Yeah.
guys know, I wanted to talk about it just in case,
Right,
we wanted to do something different.
that's right. Okay. All right, the blight ordinance. You said you and Christie had some.
Yeah, well, the blight ordinance is, Elder hasn't completely reviewed, they've reviewed it, but they're asking a question.
Okay.
And I think maybe we're not explaining ourselves right. So I was hoping we could vote for this Thursday night, and maybe I could get the question answered before then. But what Miss Douglas, who works with Gary Elder, she sent back to Andrea, she said that Gary and I had reviewed the proposed ordinance for the abatement of derelict and blighted properties. This ordinance gets it started and seems to be taking the verbatim from the state code. She named the state code. It requires the locality may enact an ordinance giving the locality the authority to remove derelict buildings if the locality has a real estate tax abatement program. Is this something Nottoway has in place? Chris and I talked, I don't think we're looking for, y'all are more looking at to charge more real estate tax if it's a derelict
That's right.
property. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yes. So right now, if you take care of your property as an owner, your assessment's gonna go up if you take care of your property. So I'm paying tax on my improvements because I took care of it. Somebody that doesn't take care of it, their assessment went down. And we've got building sites that can't be used.
Right.
And the potential for criminality. So we want to use some method, whether it's, the first thing is at 10% or 8%, there was two different numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
So you increase their taxes until they take care of the problem.
Okay. So really, we're not looking at real estate tax abatement program. We're looking at like a higher direct
Trying
tax
to push them,
tax rate.
trying to push them to fix.
Okay.
That's right. In other words, if they're a strain on emergency services as well, a lot of phone calls, sheriff's
Right.
department, you going out there to multiple properties where people are being given Narcan to revive them or either have
Right.
drug-induced deaths on the property and stuff like that. That's criminal blight.
Okay. I'm going to get that clarified to make sure.
That was under the code. That was under the code.
Yep.
Right.
The tax increase.
Yes. I think it was 10 and 5. I think one of them was 10 and one of them was 5. I know it's two different ones, but yeah. And the other thing is, Steve, you and I had talked a little bit when there may have been some concerns about some folks thinking that we were just going to go tear houses down. We're probably 2 years away from tearing anything down, because when you start with these additional taxes and stuff like that, or additional fees, then anything collected, that'll start your pot of money to go and start tearing something down. They done had 2 years to do it.
Mhm.
You know, I think Blackstone moved pretty quick on theirs, but,
That's where they were using the workforce housing,
Weatherization and workforce, well,
the new houses.
the new house is workforce.
So they were able to put a lien against the property that had a derelict building, so these were
mhm.
interior features that you could see from the exit, roof was off, windows are out.
Correct.
They were able to go in and tear it down, put the lien on it, and then, you sell it to workforce housing, or does it go to auction?
So the way it works is with the workforce housing, the town owns the property. They tear down the home. And with workforce housing, once we have a qualified candidate that can get a loan to get a house built, we build on that.
Okay, so then when they get their loan is when it transfers from town ownership back to private ownership,
Right.
it goes back on the tax roll.
That's
as
right.
a new house.
That's right. And see, so that's what we're doing, but it also, gives the sheriff's department another tool and also should give citizens a lot of peace of mind that we're trying to clean the drug problem up too. Because most of these derelict houses is where most of your drug activity is going to be.
So it's not the person, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, it's not the person who's living in it, who owns that property.
That's right.
So it's renting type thing.
Mhm.
And I I think I didn't say it right. Andrea, I'm trying to get permission Thursday night from the board to do the public. Hit that right. So I'm trying to get all the questions down so you give me the authority to do the public hearing in August.
Yeah. it'll be next.
And then it won't be in front of us at another work session. So,
That's right.
okay.
Yep.
Just wanted to clarify that. I'm gonna have a conversation with the lawyer between there and Thursday.
Yeah.
The goal is to create a more valuable property to then be used by our citizens and pay fair.
All right. And I think our board members I believe when we spoke in the past, the consensus is still, we good at moving forward with this, right? Okay, good deal. All right.
Mr. Chair, if I may, and just for clarity, y'all are gonna put this, amend the building.
Oh, you gonna be doing some work, bro?
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, I think whatever
Building code, not the
Zoning,
Zoning.
yeah, they're belonging to zoning. It's clearly a building, because there's citations of the building, state building. code,
That's right.
Title, chapter 10. But y'all only have to do that one public hearing.
That's right.
Doesn't have to go through the thing. I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess everybody needs to read through this and see if they would have any changes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we got, you don't have to have that done by Thursday. I just gotta have that done before. There's a public hearing in August.
Email to Steve. see if they-
Right, that's right. But as far as, so far, the meat and potatoes of it, I think the lawyer's okay with this. We just got a couple little things going with that.
Yeah, like I said, as long as it's state code, so verbatim, we're good to go on how to tax them.
Yeah, Nick and I talked, Nicholas and I talked earlier, and, you know, when I put in the 90 days from Bedford, for the Bedford business, he and I talked, and we thought it would be, we don't want to be too charitable, and the 90 days is a little bit too much, perhaps 60 days for people to respond.
Respond, yes.
But, you know, the state says, 30 days, but we can go to 60 days, and I think, that's sort of a happy medium. So we
Yeah.
don't come down too far.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Well, this is our first try at this.
Well, another thing, another thing with this as well, it's one of those living, breathing documents. We change it as we need to make it effective and, citizen friendly as well, but getting to the point of it. All right, well, the next issue here is the performance agreement with Blackstone.
Yes. So there is a manufacturing company coming to Blackstone very soon called J. Cause Engineering. They're coming from California. And they have proposed sites that they were looking at in Maryland and Georgia, but they finalized with Blackstone. So Blackstone decided to seek additional funding, grant funding to assist. And the document you have in front of you is from DEDP. And they are gonna fund $125,000 through the town as a pass-through to help get this company here to assist with hiring land to construct equipment, operations to the facility in Nottoway County, because they want to look at it as a county project, but preferably in Blackstone. And then we also received funding from the Tobacco Commission in 2000. But the agreement in front of you has to be okayed and approved by our county in order for us to proceed, as the pass-through. The reason the word draft is on there, because we haven't got the go-ahead from the county yet. I was informed that once the county has read the document, if they're okay with it, that they will send an electronic copy, electronic copy, to either Mr. Bowen or, and to sign off on, and then we can proceed.
Two quick questions I have, Jeff, Ms. Bryant,
Yes.
if you don't mind. First of all, is town council voted on this? Are they in?
Tonight, everything's coming tonight. They have the same document in front of them to go for your council to approve and push forward with this later.
Okay, all right, because
Glad you come in. So.
I'm
the,
glad I came to this.
Sometimes.
yes. The other question I have is, with the county signing this agreement, if the board so chooses, does this put Nottoway on the hook for any of this whatsoever?
The town.
Just the take?
Just the town.
The county has no buyback.
And when you say on the hook, you're talking about the grant money and the tobacco.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all that
You don't have any feedback.
Right.
If they,
Thank you. That's that old plumber talk. They using that again.
And with the company coming, they're gonna open up 30 jobs in the area, full-time jobs for this area. So we're hoping that everything goes according to plan. He's eager to begin. We're eager to help him get here. It's our last step.
Okay, and do you know how many jobs the projection is beyond the first 30?
That's for the first 3 years.
First 3 years?
Yes. I'm not sure, but I believe I may have it. And I'm not sure if you guys.
Because I couldn't remember, but it seems like when I just talked with Philip about this, but it's been a while back, I thought that it was a projection of, and I don't want to misstate anything, I thought it was closer to 50 or something.
45.
I want to say 45.
Mr. Bryant, why has the county got anything to do with it if it's in the corporate limits of Blackstone?
Because the way that BEDP is set up, we may be the locality getting the money, but we're located in Nottoway County. So they incorporate it as a county.
The other thing, Bo, is
So in y'all's tax revenue, anything we, as a county, we got no say on that, correct?
Correct.
But the town is located in the county.
Correct.
So having rental property, you pay taxes on both. So why we got anything to do with it?
They just have.
That's
it
just
set
the
up.
law?
That's the way they have this agreement set up, that we have to keep the county in the
So,
loop since we're
back
located
in-
in the county.
back in March, we had, I think it was in a work session, we had agreed to waive Nottoway County machinery and tools tax
I remember that. For
for
this.
5 years. That's on page 6, 37.
But that's the only thing that's.
Well, we still, correct, but we have to tell them, we gotta sign it so that they know we're doing it.
But, you said there'd be no blowback as far as any kind of match, grant, proceeds, anything of that nature?
Not for the county, no, sir.
That's what they told you, or that's what you know?
That's what I know.
So we don't have to tell a lawyer to look at it.
I always tell everybody, get the lawyer to look at it, to double check, but from what I know and what I've read and what I've talked to the people at BEDP, it is not for the county.
Okay.
And it is 45 jobs over 5 years. And I
Okay,
can pass this
yeah.
around so y'all can see, this is just a basic breakout that J. Paul sent to us about their company. This is the breakdown for the 5-year terms and how many jobs they're projected over each year.
We did, I remember seeing this one now, that's where I got that, but just in case.
But y'all can have that copy. I done about 40 at my job.
Oh, okay.
Have that copy.
Right. If board members, if y'all want to, anybody wants to copy this, I guess we need the,
I can visually send it over.
We did.
You
Yeah,
can have it. I got
Yeah.
about 400 at my job.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. All right, well, did y'all have any more questions on that?
Do you want to, Lloyd, look at it before you decide?
Yep.
Okay. So what this is tell me if I'm wrong, this is the hopes, because the deadline's coming up, right?
Yes.
The hope is if I get the lawyer to approve it, if y'all could vote on it Thursday, she wants me to sign it Friday and move on because the deadline's the end of the month.
That suits me.
And I think, well, I understand you're kind of one of them people who like to be a week ahead
I
of them.
do.
That's good, that's wonderful, because I'm always 2 weeks behind.
All right, I'll get, the
So
elder.
you're gonna wanna make something this person brought to my attention, they're manufacturers, so they don't have to have a business license.
Okay, so,
We're going
okay.
through all that, and they do not have to have a business license.
I send it up.
And speaking of Ms. Hudson, I'm sorry, board members, we were gonna, talk about the elder tax relief
Oh, that's fine.
because, well, we still have her here. I know we getting out of order here, but I don't.
This was interesting, that was fine. You can
Yeah,
finish
let's
this
make
up.
it.
Okay, all right.
No, finish this up and.
I think we're done with this. We're gonna send it to the lawyers to get it reviewed and sign off on it Friday,
Yep.
right?
But then we got something else, right?
Yes,
Tail?
yes.
Oh.
So there's been discussion on a partnership to apply for funding, through USDA to replace an existing water lines to the industrial site at Fort Barfoot. The town had our engineer go out. We didn't think it was gonna come back as much as it did. I did get a copy for everyone to see the cost estimate. I think the town was looking at roughly maybe a million, a little over a million, the most. The estimate came back at $4,354,843. So after speaking with Philip, he said he's gonna postpone putting the application in because we don't have that much money set aside to work on this water line. But I wanted to give each of you a copy of the estimate so we're kind of on the same page and understand. And that way, we're not saying no. It's just we gotta put some money aside. That's just a lot of money to set aside right now with other capital projects.
We understand.
Yeah, first hand.
I
I'm
would
glad y'all
say,
smart enough to put it aside, though, before you do it, run the bar.
I got a copy for everybody.
I would say that in your travels, if you see opportunity to apply for something,
Right. Yeah.
we're very interested in getting water and sewer out.
Yes, the conversations we had with Mr. Bowen and Greg and Nick, we were eager. We was like, oh, it should be a great, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, okay. And then when it came back and said 4 million, I think he and Philip both sat down and said, really?
Well, it may be that as we get into trying to market these sites, that we find an end user. I think once you've got a customer,
Yeah, then we can kind of work on
you know, stay a little bit.
So no action needed on that?
No action needed on that.
Okay.
Just keep it on your list of things. So if y'all hear it come back up,
Good
found
deal.
some more money to go ahead and apply. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Tobacco Commission Violation Fund.
Tobacco Commission violation fund.
Revitalization.
Oh, I think we've been violated for what?
Probably.
I didn't hear, right? He
Is
didn't
that the
say
same, is that?
That's the same one.
That's the
the
same
one.
Okay, all right, okay.
So that was, that money you were looking
We were looking to get that.
towards.
All right, so that's dead on that. Okay. All right, so
So when I met with them, they were ready to, I think you, Greg and Nick come to see you guys.
That was USDA. I don't know.
Oh,
what it says
okay.
for that.
That's a grant, this
USDA.
one was right.
yes,
Yeah, we did that like 3 weeks, maybe a month ago in June, early June, late May, and everything. We came in and we're in Philip's office.
Yeah,
So the main thing we need is that performance agreement,
yes.
the
that's
DD. Okay, and I'll get a lawyer to review that and have that.
Not a problem.
Okay.
all right, board members, we'll move on to number 7, the Citizens Diversity Committee. For roundtable discussions, y'all may remember back in February,
Our council.
Elected.
Y'all have a-
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Good seeing you.
Thank you for coming up.
Of course, anytime. If y'all need me for any grant writing.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Can you do them personal?
All right, so the Citizens Diversity Committee, I believe, the last time we talked about it, it was kind of started with, like a ring of honor for Black History Month. And it kind of grew once we talked to, some groups out in the county. They wanted to look at maybe doing different things, different cultures, year round that could be promoted. And I think where we left off at, Ms. Bowen, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were going to try to find 3 people in each district to form this citizens committee, and have them start looking at some of this stuff. It would be no influence from the board. I think maybe if we get there, I think the first meeting, I think maybe it might be ideal if Steve kind of gave them a gist of it, and then after that.
Yeah, I think what the chairman was trying to accomplish, which was interesting conversation, we got some people at the table. Sometimes like you try to do something, let's just say, and some of the members we brought in was the NAACP. Well, they didn't want, sometimes you just do something for, Black America or African American, how you want to say it. you just do some of them, it splits people even more, you know, and I thought, I said, well, that's pretty interesting, you know, to look at it through those lenses. So what the chairman was trying to do is how can we bring good news from Nottoway? Like we got good people who do good things and just honor maybe one person a year, you know, no matter where they're from, who they are. It's just that's what we, if I'm saying that right,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to accomplish. And I don't know, but then we just threw out 3 from each district. You might say you don't need that. We just threw out ideas, but we're trying to get that started, but I'm not sure how to start it. Does that make sense?
As far as 3 from each district, that's 15 people.
A lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
And part of that came from the folks that we were talking to. They were thinking they wanted someone young. They would like to have female representation and male representation, you know, to make sure that there was input from across the county, from across all cultures, and, you know, kind of seeing what the county can do, even if it's just honoring stuff like on our website, our Facebook pages and stuff like that. So this is kind of what they would be tasked with. And the whole thing, I think too, even the folks we talked to said low or no cost.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was that part of the conversation was pretty easy.
I think something that probably struck the nerve to me was, and I'll get to couple up and I'll say without using names, Mr. Eaton had a poem one night. Well, you honor, where do you honor some people, then there's somebody over here. You gotta be careful. That's right. Because there's, you know, let's like if you're using a teacher, for example,
Right.
you honor this teacher, but it's like 10 others who may have passed away and they're just totally forgotten, you know? And so that's the, I guess, the part that you really gotta, that's why I think the committee and talk it out. But anyway, but you still might not
Hurt some feelings.
That's right. That's what
But
you gotta do.
yeah, it's gonna be some hurt feelings anywhere you go. Is the object to honor somebody, just one person, or is the object to maybe honor one person a month or one person a quarter?
Or could it be a group of people, could it be like
Yeah.
a organization?
Yeah, because you start to think about it. We have, like you got Firefighters Week. You've got Black History Month. You've got Cinco de Mayo. You've got Veterans Week, Memorial Day, stuff like that. They can take all of these holidays, all of these months in that committee to say, okay, well, let's take this information and see what we can do with it. Maybe and I mean, it's nothing that they can vote on.
Right.
They can just bring that information back to us and see if there's something that they can recommend, like you're talking about. Do you want to do it once a month? There's a lot of good people in Nottoway. Do you want to do it once a quarter?
Well, you know, I go through the town of Blackstone and I see those
Yep.
banners on the light posts and so forth, and that's great.
Yep.
And they stay there for a while. I was real curious because my buddy is right across the street from his house, Rat McDaniel. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, that's really neat that he's got this right here on his block. I don't know, you know, again, I go back to the fact, I've been here too long, probably. Born and raised here, stayed here, and so I know people from this county who have done great things. They may not be here now, but they've done great things, and you know, and it's a lot of people don't know what people have done here.
Right. That's true.
And so you look at that and you say, okay, well, are we going to honor them just because of what they've done? Do they have to be in the county? Do they have to be, you know, still alive? Do they have to be gone? I mean, you know, there's a lot of areas you're going to have to look at. And is it just going to be sports? Is it going to be?
I think it's wide open.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but these are the things you got to think about. I think you've got to look at how you're going to pick somebody or some group. It could be a group, but if you look at, like John says, we got Veterans Day, we got Memorial Day, we've got churches that are doing a lot of stuff. We've got Crew Cares Committee that's now getting ready to open up a new place in Crew, and they're doing a lot of good work. So, I mean, is it going to be the group, the chairman of that group, chairperson of that group, rather, or is it going to be just an individual?
So I think, if you want to appoint a committee and let them look at it and see and come back with some ideas, maybe that's the way to go.
I think too, on that line, the last couple of VACO meetings I went to, community engagement was a big discussion there.
Yeah.
Steve, you probably could reach out to them and mention, get that last presentation. I'll see if I can find it. But as far as community engagement and this idea, it's like a focus. You could have a focus month on certain things to show the positive of our community because we have so much bad.
But
To
then-
show the positives.
But there's a state code out there that allows certain citizens groups to be appointed as well. I can't remember exactly what the state, but it's the state code out there that allows citizen groups. You can do them for in exploratory purposes. You can do it for more citizen engagement. I mean, I know we're all elected, but who do we go to when we have questions? We go to the people that elected us. And here's a way you can do that. You can use that state code, and put that in it. Now they have no voting power, but they can bring recommendations back to you, whether it's finance or something else, but there is a state code for that.
It is us. I just don't remember what the code is.
Yeah. And see, this could kind of,
So is that gonna be organized amongst themselves, or the county gonna organize it for them, or?
well, that's what I'm saying. I think Steve, when we decide the number and put the people in the room on a certain day, let Steve kind of run point on, because I don't want them to feel like they're pressured by the electeds. You know what I mean? If anybody reaches out to
If
us.
they say 15 is 2 minutes, then
Yeah, there you go.
let them think.
But they gotta come up with a purpose, a mission statement. They need to, what their focus is gonna be.
Yeah.
Because this group, are they gonna speak on behalf of themselves? Because we don't want to create an almost rules liability or something happens that they've done, it will come back on us.
And it's not, it's just recommendation. It's recommendation on, they don't even need to set a,
They created themselves.
that's right. That's right. They don't need to have,
What about if you named it the Citizens Commendation?
well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. So you can
That's what
think
we're
about
looking,
something.
that's what we're looking
Yeah,
for. Commend people.
that's a good one. I'm all right with that.
When Ms. Dorn mentioned about the engagement, I'll give you an example. I did not, and it's my ignorance, it's not anybody's fault, maybe because I'm on the other side of the slow part of the western part of the county over there. But I didn't know that veterans were feeding people out of at Fort Barfoot until I had a problem with a part of the building. I said, "What are y'all doing out here?" Well, been doing it for years, and so. But I think that if I don't know, there's got to be other people who don't know.
There's a lot of people.
That's right.
See, that's the other thing is, if you're gonna publicize this stuff, like I'm saying, that Crew Cares deal right there behind the post office in Crew now, that's where they're gonna operate from. And I don't know how many people know that. How many people know, like you said, the veterans giving out food at Pickett, Barfoot, excuse me. It's just, there's a lot of stuff going on in this county that people don't know about.
Right.
And I don't know if this would be a way to get it out there. The problem is, it's gotta be publicized. And we don't get publicized probably as much as we should.
On good info, on good stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You should have linked it in with money, with safety and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
They might keep involved with someone else.
All of these things, we always have to remember that when we have citizens that move into the county, Dick has been here all his life, so he knows about everything.
not everything.
But like helping every life prosper in Blackstone.
Yep.
That's
Right.
it. It's a food bank. They can help you with utility bill. You go to churches if somebody's had a sickness. So recognizing groups like that through this program would allow them to be successful. And then there are new people know.
And maybe groups is what we should look at. I mean,
I'm thinking groups might be your best bet to begin with. The reason I'm saying that is if you start picking individuals, there may be some conflicts.
well, you just like, and I'll say this, I never thought in a million years the CARES group would raise as much money as they could. I would, if I was a vet man, I would say they make it on.
Nottoway.
Not with CARES. Yeah, I just never, yeah, thank you. I just never, I mean, and I tell them that, shamefully, but they're not going, they wouldn't want to pick an individual. They have always been a group.
That's right.
Right. So,
And you never know, something might fall within that group that says that this one person's done such a phenomenal
Well, I mean,
thing,
if,
you know.
if
Still have
I,
a group.
Yeah,
if I would speak for that group, I know who they would say.
Yeah.
But, I'm not gonna speak for that group. I've only been a part of
Yeah,
it
I got you.
for a year and a half, or whatever it is. But I think if you look at it that way, groups, and then you say, okay, churches, clubs, civic clubs, chambers.
That
I
could,
mean, look what the chambers have done, what the Blackstone Chamber has done now, moving up to the western end of the county. So if you look at those types of things, you say, hey, look at what's going on. We got good stuff going on.
Right.
And everybody needs to know about it. That's a big thing. I need to let them know. This is here, and we're gonna keep on working on that. But, I think that maybe you start with the groups, and that the groups can name the individuals.
yeah, there you go.
You know, if they want to have somebody on a committee or something like that, but I think if you start pulling people, then somebody's gonna say, well, you didn't get me, or you should have gotten that person, and let's go with the groups first.
Okay, I think that makes, I think, let's, if we could, Mr. Chairman, and looking at the numbers, how about 2 from each district? 10 is more manageable, I think, as far as getting things off the ground. And I like the groups that way. And then that may educate someone. They go, well, you know, I want to feed people on Saturdays.
Right.
How can I help or whatever?
Well, I've now done a couple of our couple that Ann and I know, they've been helping at the food bank. I didn't know it. And they told us, we've been going up there and we've been getting food together and everything. I'm like, dang, no, I did not know that.
Right.
And then they're gonna start doing it at the school in Berkeley.
Okay.
And we have the almshouse in Berkeley. It's
Yeah,
that's right.
churches that
Yeah.
work together.
All right, you said that, the food bank, the feed more that's at the school. I was told that they had put freezers and coolers and stuff in there.
Oh, they had, I didn't know that.
Berkeley,
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering who's paying the bill for it, if that's accurate.
It's probably
I do know that, I did see people online picking up food one day. I went up there for something. I can't remember.
Yeah, they do it on like a Thursday or something like that. When they do it, I think it's like every other Thursday,
Well,
or Thursday or something like that.
You know, they showed us that's a good question. They did show us what we're paying in rent so far. It's not paying a lot of the electric. You know, they did mention that in one of the.
All right, but also,
it's already in full of grant. Taxpayers do it, but it's also providing service.
yeah, but if there's well, I guess it'd have to be looked at through the school. If they're putting anything in there, is there any liability if something fails with those freezers or something like that? Or, you know,
Well, did the schools give them permission to do that?
we need to find out if it
That's
was
what
done.
I'm saying.
I don't see what's much difference. I'm 99% sure there's 99.9%. The gymnasium in Burkeville, they're allowing some people to walk in that gym and they have to sign in and sign out because you got to keep the AC and heat running in that gym. If you don't, your floor is going to mess up.
Right.
So I think it's a sign-in sheet on that, you know.
Okay.
So the school must have allowed that, but I will double check.
Yeah, you know, if they're putting in coolers and things like that, somebody had to give them permission to do that.
Somebody got listed on insurance somewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, additionally insured. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that it's there. I was told,
Understand,
it was told that it was
Right.
So it's something that we check up on.
confirmed.
I will do that. So, so here's the goal, if we could, on the Citizens Accommodations Committee. Look at groups, at two from, if y'all could give me 2 names by, September, I would like to have a meeting in October. That's my goal. And hopefully have somebody, a group that can be recognized in January, February for the
Just
year,
off
for
it,
the year 24.
No. And I guess.
So we gotta be careful with that too. What happened? How come we didn't get
Yeah, that gives everybody a goal to work.
that goal to work on?
Yeah, there you go. All right,
Two
we'll
from
move,
each district.
all right, we'll move on to the,
Can you ask me one question?
yes, the elderly tax relief. I know, Mr. Collins had a question for you.
Had you done some investigating in how other localities have done?
Yes, I've already done all that.
Okay. So is it possible to do it?
It is very possible.
Okay. One of the things that I've looked at, and this is gonna be earmarking some money. So if we make some adjustments to our solar ordinance, none of the citizens in this county want a large solar sites. And so any fees that come in aren't really gonna be enough to generate income to offset the entire tax rate, real estate tax rate. What I think it could do is create a little pot of money that under guidelines, somebody could apply for some tax relief. And that's where it comes from. So say we were offering 20% tax relief. So your bills, say your bill's $1,000. So you would get $200 from this senior tax relief that's created by site agreements and megawatt payments from these solar.
Well, there's already, correct me if I'm wrong, we've been talking about this, there's state code that specifies how you do the elderly tax relief.
Well, the reason I like
We could
this,
use what you're talking about to offset the loss.
correct, because if you just give the relief, you've got the loss. So if we use this as a place to replace that loss, so then we're net zero, the senior person was able to get a little help. And then I've always said that a small solar site doesn't bother me. And so there's a couple changes that I'll offer up tonight, everybody can talk about it. But I felt like that would be a great use of the money. And then on an individual basis, there'll be enough if we do a solar project. But across the whole tax rate, that's not, these sites are not going to do that.
Right.
So it'd be a stringent application process.
Well, that's,
You gotta fill out,
65 years old.
yeah, they gotta fill a form.
Gotta be a
but
hard.
I think it's that in the
It's very
code.
complicated.
It's very complicated. There's forms y'all would have to decide on their, what their finances can
What makes them
be.
eligible?
And that's under the code.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
that's under
That's
the
by the
code. Yes,
That's right.
yes,
That's right. It's numbers, not names.
exactly.
So it will be a win-win.
Exactly.
The elderly would get a benefit, but the county can be reimbursed, so to speak.
Correct, and then if we have, some of our small landowners, we're not talking about the corporations here, we're not gonna be interested in 50 acres.
Right.
So our small landowners might have an opportunity to do a solar project, which would then help our other citizens that would like a little tax relief. Okay? Like my thought.
Whatever y'all want to do, I'm for it.
Nikki, what do you think of that?
I've talked to Bill about it. My deal is, I don't want us to get too big. We had in the ordinance 40 acres. Problem is, when you get enough, you gotta have 5 megawatts to get a siting fee from solar people.
That's under the code.
So you can't, if somebody comes in and puts up 20 acres, you're not gonna get a site fee. You would get the revenue taxes on whatever they're doing and that type of thing, but you won't get them a whole lot of money. But if you allow a site to have 5 megawatts, then you get a siting fee. And what Bill was talking about is taking that fee that the developer has to pay to site this thing in the county and put that in the fund for tax relief sales. Now, I myself don't want to see it get any bigger than that. Like, I don't know what the board wants to do, but all my folks that I've talked to for 2 years now, they do not want big solar.
So what would,
5
so
megawatts, what was that acreage?
But 50 with it. Well, it could be up to 50, but I mean, I got on the internet many times and asked, how many panels would it take? Oh, 40 acres give you 5 megawatts. In certain instances, it would. The problem that we have is if you want to do a 5 megawatt, you got to have a site that will meet the setback requirements. Well, our setback requirements are stiff. They were done that for a reason. So there would have to be some adjustment with that. And in talking to Bill, I told him, I said, if you adjust your setbacks, get the permission of the neighbors. If a neighbor says, no, I don't want that thing near me, then we're gonna have to talk about it. See what I'm saying? I'd just soon not have any, but I see this is a good way to have some and benefit the citizens.
I think what you're saying that you may be comfortable with at this time, assuming if I understand you right, is that the site agreement needs to be 5 megawatts.
I've got some language here.
Yeah.
Do you want to,
Are
Do
we
you have anything
moving to
else?
solar now? We're gonna finish up.
Well-
we went down to elderly tax relief, so it is
I
possible.
mean, it is possible.
It's
yes,
possible
we
you've
can
done
do
the
this.
work, you know the code
Yes.
describes who can apply. All right, well,
And I
that's-
have did I not?
You should be.
I only sent.
We
it to
went
you.
over them sometime in one of our meetings.
Right.
Okay.
I need to send it to all of you, is what I need to do.
Okay.
So I'll if I don't do that tomorrow, do you need it tomorrow?
No,
Okay, because if not, I'll do it when I get back from vacation.
Well, Christie, real quick, the reassessment 4 years. While we got you here, there's 2 other questions. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Moving the reassessments to 4 years.
Yes.
That's, so do we want to do and Christie, that we want to talk about the biannual real estate tax bill? Also, my recommendation to the board, I know that you heard that when we were talking about the budget, but I think it's healthy to do a public hearing for that reassessment 4 years. You don't have to. You can just vote on it.
I totally agree because you automatically gotta change the tax rate 2 cents to recapture what it's gonna cost to do the reassessment.
200 some
So
thousand.
you're gonna have to capture 2 cents some kind of way.
well, as long as if you save over, Steve was talking about trying to save over 4 years.
Then we wouldn't have to.
Yeah, so you won't have to do it, but every 4 years.
Be nice if I
But you
could,
still do it in 4 years opposed to 6.
Yeah, right.
If you put about 65,000 away for the next 4 years, you pay for it.
And where's that gonna come from? The taxing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we gotta figure out.
Come out of general fund.
Like everything else.
so
I
let's,
think we'll
let's,
have- I think we'll
let's,
have probably meeting on a public hearing on it as well.
Yeah,
all right,
Yeah, I don't
so-
have any problem
See what
with
they
that.
think.
all right, how about we line that up for August?
Yes.
That's good, yes.
All right,
Public hearing for the reason.
It could be beneficial to them and paying less taxes, most likely not.
Right.
But it's a possibility.
And the norm across the state now, when I was in Metro, I keep saying that, when I was in a room, 60-some people, that's what they're all.
And I think, Ms. Norton, didn't you send out like other counties? Somebody did, and I'll try to get that into the package to make sure we're looking at that. Okay.
All right, then the biannual real estate tax bills. What's y'all thought on that? Because you're collecting the same amount of money, but you're doubling your cost of mailing out.
And you ain't only doubling your cost, you cost
No,
the
you're
taxpayer.
not.
No, you only mail it out once a year.
But you cost the taxpayer 6 months worth of their money early. I've been contacted on this more than I had sold. Don't vote for that vote. Don't do that. We ain't never done it. We don't need to start it now.
And then we got.
And then my suggestion to them was, if you do it, you give them incentive to pay it early. Knock off 2%, because the county's getting money early,
Mhm.
6 months worth early. Give them 2% deduction if they want to pay it 6 months early, let them
Depends
pay
on
it.
how you look at it, though. It was certainly, if you're billing in December and then you're billing again in June, right? Then you're not really doing it early. You can pay half of it.
But that's
But
the
that's
early
the
part.
point. That's the point, because we've had such increase, was to give the citizens the opportunity to pay half now and half later.
I think they have that opportunity.
Have.
If they've always had, they can pay whatever
See,
they want to.
that's my
Yeah,
point. I think,
It'll be late.
I really think,
think.
They can start paying their taxes in January, but people do not know this. You can go to the treasurer's office
That's
and
what I'm
say, I have $20, please apply this to my 24 taxes for my real estate. And they will do that. So you can start that. And I try to tell people, go ahead and start paying. You can do that. But they don't put it out there like that. But you can do that. Now,
But if we adopt this, it's mandatory, they're gonna pay it every 6 months. They're paying it 6 months early, because it's not due to December. If you make them pay in January, June, that's 6 months early that they gotta pay it before it's actually due, right?
right, because the
I
first
want
bill
the
will
first
be due
bill
in
will
June.
be June.
It would be due in
So it'd be 6 months early, because it ain't really due to December.
All right, but wait a minute. That June bill, is that for the previous year's tax?
No.
No, that's why I say you paying it 6 months early.
So
All right,
and let's
but how
say we
do- well, I'm-
start it next year.
Uh-huh.
You guys would have to get me a rate by the beginning of April.
Right.
So I can generate the book. I'm gonna send it to the treasurer. She's gonna do her bit. She's gonna get the tax tickets done. They're gonna go in the mail. First bill's gonna be due June, whatever, for 25. The next one's gonna be due December 5th, 25. So it's for 2025. It's just split into
Good
two
habit.
bills.
And they'll get two tabs, they'll get a payment tab on the payment book.
For
They'll
January and
get
December.
one for June,
Yes.
one for December, so you won't be having to run the bills twice.
My recommendation is if y'all do that, give them a 2%, make it an option, make it optional to them. Because it's a lot of people borrowing money to pay the taxes. From a line of credit or what have you, or they may be taking it, they could be borrowing it anywhere. So they're gonna pay 6 months worth of interest on their tax. And one may say, no, that's not much for 5. It is for 5, 10, 20. It's a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it's giving us the money early that we're gonna generate revenue off of, because we're gonna get interest off of
And that's the other reason we had talked about it.
it. That need to do it,
Really,
right?
To level out our inflow of revenue. We have that big peak in December and
Old man told me one time, I kinda had a cab one time a year if you're a good steward of it. It ain't her fault if you piss the money away. So having said that, these taxes due one time a year. They still gonna be the same thing. You can't get two cabs at
I
a time.
think,
We can talk about it, but we're gonna have a public hearing. Let's have.
Well, we have some public hearing on the other, we're gonna have a public hearing.
What do you think, what do you think about, let's take baby steps, let's do the 4 years.
You mean
A lot of change too fast, let's do the 4 years, see how that
I
goes.
agree with that, and I think,
don't, and we can put it on the back burner, but don't put it away.
I think that we need to do whatever we can do to let the citizens know, you can pay anytime. You can pay $100 a month. You can pay $50 a month. I tell you what I do, I have Christmas savings account coming, I get my money in October. That's
Yeah.
what it's for.
You got that 52 weeks, but you start paying before Christmas
Exactly.
at the next one. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, another good thing is
I bet it's
we
like
have
that.
BAI is coming tomorrow to be hooked up, the BAI server. So there will be the portal out there. I don't know when it's gonna be live, but
That's when they can start paying.
Yeah.
yeah, so you can start paying online now, and I think that will help a lot
Well,
too.
Christy said she would help me with this, and I appreciate it, Christy. We were talking about it when we sent out the tax bills. We sent out, like Mr. Abbott mentioned, whatever actually we spent, what was the budget? What was the actual.
Right.
We also talked about, maybe we could add that. We could say, hey, you can pay your taxes now online. In other words, a little educational sheet to let people know, and then try to figure out, we were talking about trying to figure out a pie chart to show, hey, 78 or 79% of our budget goes to the school.
Right.
So they can at least kind of get up, where's my money going?
Right.
And,
I know somebody who's real good at making pie charts, but anyway.
well, you mentioned actuals. Bill and I talked about that. I want to see the actuals for 2023. I know they're still working on it, but I want to see the
There's something that the jail board book has. It's wonderful. So we're getting revenue now in our board book, but that list of revenue doesn't tell me anything. In the jail board book, it's got projected, what was your budget, and the next column is what's been collected. It's got a percentage in the next column, so you can see that you only got 80%, or you spent 150%. So that's really the information. No, that's in the chart.
Well,
So
when we prepared our budget, though, we may find the actual projections that we used in 2023. We want to know what the actual projections that we used came into be. What were the
Right.
actual numbers?
But anyway, that's a
We
good
need to
report.
know that.
That actually tells you
Tell you where you are.
that every month.
We need, and we're gonna get to that point. We need to know where we are. So say what we took out of general fund, we were supposed to take out of general fund last year. Did we really take that much? We don't know.
Just like with the attorney.
Mhm.
We passed that
Citizens would
budget.
like to know
Hey, this
that.
might be crazy, but can we move the month of payment instead of December right at Christmas time? Can we move it to October, November to make it a little less stressful? Is that?
That's probably code.
So,
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
all right.
She was ready to leave, she just.
All right, so I have to run the books. The rate has to be set. I have to run the books, and then Tammy has to get the bills out, what was it, 60 days? I think it's 60 days off the top of my head. So that's gonna push everything. Y'all are gonna have to come up with a rate quicker. And, you know,
That means we have to do a budget quick.
yeah.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. At each of our meetings, we should say, we're just going to remind the citizens, you can go and pay part of your tax now at the treasurer's office. They will collect it. I think that's got to be made known to everybody. You don't have to wait till
We could
December
even-
the 5th.
You could even put an ad in July with the new budget year starting, an ad in the paper
Yeah.
that says you may now prepay on your tax bill.
I just think people don't know that. And if they knew that, some people would take advantage of it. Some people don't wait till the end, like they always do. Some people are gonna wait till after the end. But, I think letting people know there's options, like paying online and that type of thing, will really help them understand what we're trying to do.
Is it worth the cost to send out the flyers? You know how they like you can put something in the mail
Right.
and have it listed as Nottoway County so people will look at it. And not that it's junk mail, like a flyer,
Right.
postcard or something like that. Is it worth? Because like you said, even if you were to go to twice a month, look how many people say, we don't read the newspaper. We don't go on
That's right.
Facebook.
Right.
We don't go on the internet. So if the change would be probably shocking, but when they get it in the mail, they're gonna be like, what the hell is this? Would you go on twice a month or y'all move my month? And so it would be a little shock and all, but at the same time, I think, again, I hate spending the money, but is it worth to get that out? Like you said, when it comes out.
It could go in the tax bills.
Put in something we already sent.
Yeah, if Tammy's mailing out the tax bills, I don't know if she's doing it or if the company that's gonna print them is gonna do them, but it could be put in the tax bills for like this year. Just a heads up, this is some changes, you can do this. And then by that point, we'll have our portal information also that they can go on and pay here.
In that pool, are they gonna be charged to pay online anymore?
Tammy she was supposed to be getting in touch with, I forget who it was now, but it's through PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a question for her. I don't
Okay,
know the
all right.
answer to
I'm
that,
just
John.
curious.
Sure, you want to say something.
I think it's something, but I don't know the answer to that.
All right,
Before
well,
I stand up, is there?
I won't bother you anymore.
Y'all are fine. y'all are
All
fine.
Thank you.
Y'all
Thank
are
you, Christie.
welcome.
Have a good evening.
All right.
Y'all too.
Thank you, Kristen, as always. Great to hear
You're
from you.
welcome.
All right, then, so now the court order collection, act number 8. Along with the statement that was sent out to us by the judge, it brings to mind, right, this is the judges are appointed by a panel, from what I understand, as state delegates, senators and stuff like that.
In the legislature.
Yeah, and so they're state judges, these courts, the cost of these courts and the repairs being put on the backs of the locals. Okay, but there's state money that they're collecting because they're writing tickets under state code. Now, understand that if you adopt it through the county, you can adopt the state code, make it your own. Now, you will be responsible for providing an attorney, someone else an attorney. But the bottom line is the state is making bank off these courthouses. So why don't we look at this thing and say, why can't we write it on the county codes and have the fees from those tickets and stuff like that help fund the courthouse repairs?
I didn't know you could do that.
Yep.
And if you you're speaking of attorney, like a court-appointed attorney,
Mm-hmm.
if that case is lost, that client is still responsible for paying
Bingo.
the attorney.
So we get reimbursed.
Right,
Yeah. Now we have to put the money up front
that's right.
to do that. But if the state can make money off
But
the
that amount
back,
is set. It's a set amount. They don't
That's
give
right.
them like $700.
yeah, I
It's a
remember
flat
one time
fee.
years ago, it was
It was
only
$5.
150.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah,
I
years
won't
and
be
years.
in 5, and I think that's up.
But see, if we know that, the speeding tickets, cost of court, all that comes here. Guess who is doing it now? County Burke.
That's why you're writing all them tickets up.
Why do people
But they
speed?
breaking the law. They
They
need a
breaking the
ticket.
law.
That's right.
And see, the other thing was lacrosse. It's either lacrosse or Broadneck's up there in South Hill. Back in the late nineties, early 2000s, when I was over there cutting grass, I'm gonna tell you what, that cop was stopping some people, and I heard that man bring in millions.
You know, he got killed.
Mhm.
The chief, he got killed.
Yeah, that's right.
Doing his job,
That's right.
getting the dog at the road.
Yep.
Somebody hit and killed.
So there was a model built like that, just like, and I'm only assuming this. I see a Hopewell City Police Office because part of 295 is in the Hopewell district. I can't imagine that Hopewell cop is sitting up there running radar and the tickets ain't coming back to the city of Hopewell.
What about if the state trooper stops you on 460, the state trooper writes the ticket?
He's
Does then
going,
he go back to the state?
I'm sure it does. I'm
He
sure
will
it
have
does.
to. He can't get a county proceed.
I don't guess he can. But that's just one of those questions that we can find out. But now, think about it. If you have a homicide, you write that on the state code.
I
You
think
see,
this
especially if
is-
it's like a death
this
penalty
is
case.
Huge, and I think we need to get some advice from a Commonwealth attorney or someone.
I'd like to investigate it, certainly. I don't know
Oh, yeah.
enough about it.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I mean, if it's a source,
basically,
if
you
it's
gotta
a,
figure out how we can
yes,
get a source of revenue,
that's right.
pay for courthouse and do tickets, or
Yeah.
how that money's structured.
But see, I know the sheriff's department, but even Ronnie Rourke told me back in 2020, he said, we write them on the county code, on the state code, so the state pays for the attorney. But they're making bank.
Oh, yeah.
So why can't we use it as a source of revenue for this monster over here?
Mr. Chair, I give you a phone number. I put you on the guy that they turn about 800 some thousand a year. They already know. They already got it figured.
They have no
out.
criminal.
Yeah, I'll give you a phone.
I'd love to investigate it. I
I
think
would
it's
too.
important. We've obviously got a revenue shortfall in regards to
Mhm.
Judge Chiefy's letter. So anything that we can do to investigate, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think that we need to even consider a new complex. I think we got a lot there that can be worked with. Bill and I walked over and looked at it along with you, Steve, and the sheriff. You and I went and looked at the sheriff's office, John.
Mhm.
It's a lot there that can be done, a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Solid
Solid buildings.
Mr.
Yes,
Roy,
sir.
he probably hadn't seen his email. I did send y'all, the actual cover letter. If any of y'all looked at that yet, okay.
Yeah.
So the cover letter pretty much explains the process,
I didn't see a date though. Did you see?
No,
He's got to appoint a judge and that judge will say.
Right. And if you notice, he co-copied Elder already, our county.
Yeah.
Attorney. So,
Oh, did you have a chance to reach out to our historical person?
yeah, she thought it needed to be done like tomorrow. I said, no, we got time. Yeah, she came by today and I met with her over an hour.
So
There's a lady that's in my district. Her name is Peggy Lee.
Peggy,
Peggy.
who would fine us if we touch it? Who's this Virginia
It's a
Historical
historical
Society?
And the difference between, and I talked to her at length, the difference between us and Prince Edward Building 1 and Cumberland Building 1, our courthouse is historical. Theirs were not. But it would open the door for us to get historical grants and also other things.
Bloomberg is historical.
So-
I think it's on historical, isn't
Mhm.
Yeah,
it? And they just attached to the back, which we did too. We did on the back of this whole historic building.
got under it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can go, we
Yeah.
all know this needs to be done. It needs to be done.
but look,
But we gotta look at it, gotta do it in a legal way. It's a lot.
and it's, like when I talked to Judge Teefy, he said that, he said, Steve, you got time. I'm not pushing you. It's no time limit. It's not
Did he
about-
say why he come after this new 2024 versus 23 or 22 or 18 or 16?
I have an idea.
There's a reason for
And
that.
I'm gonna bite my tongue. So.
It's a reason for it, isn't it? It is a reason
Yes,
for it.
sir.
He said
Somebody
that
had some heavy lifts that got to put on the back burner for a long time.
no, he did not. I know he put a letter out in 2023. I guess it was kind of a warning.
I heard something 14 months ago or something.
Right. And,
Which it doesn't matter. I was
But
just
you
curious.
shared that with us and we started working.
Well,
Right.
here's
this.
the other thing. We just pressured ABM, and we were told that we weren't doing anything. Didn't we spend almost $1 million in improvements? How did that get lost on them?
I think it's if you read the cover letter, it's not just ADA, it's security and maintenance and da 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 da. It's multiple things. So it's just like when in this process, that's why they're gonna appoint a judge. Does anybody in this room really know, and Peggy Figler, I told her, I asked her the same question, and she doesn't. Do you really know the flow of a courtroom where a trial's going on? Do you know? I don't. So you gotta get an architect that goes in there and says, that knows, or consultant that says, hey man, you gotta have this room set up so they don't see each other. It is a flow that's part of it too. So it's just not ADA. It's the flow of the courtroom. And
It's the
so-
security aspect, not all.
In that courthouse, if you're sitting in jury number 12 box, you can't see the witness. You also, I don't know, 20, 30 feet from the TV screen. If it's a video if it's a quarter for a police officer. Right. How many elderly people, if you're a jury, how can you see that? You know, so it's a lot of, it's not just,
But that TV
ADA.
is big as that board right
I'm not arguing with you, I agree with you, but I'm not saying everybody can see it. That's what-
there.
right,
Well, what they
right.
do is they can put a prescription in on top of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking.
Okay, I'm listening to you. So, but what I'm getting at is, it's just not, it's more than just, and then the jury box, the witness box. The witness box is, I'm just using.
Yeah, when we
example.
looked at it with you and Bill that day,
All
you-
right, if
part of
the
the witness
defendant
is
is sitting
considered
right there, and he
defendant
done
harm.
raped the person that's in the witness, they're too close.
yeah, I agree.
Right. So
Something
that's,
definitely needs to be done. I totally agree with you.
right.
I just wonder why this got kicked aside all this time, because it don't look like it was been a fair trial up in a regular while if it was set up like we looked at it.
I think,
And
I
we-
think,
We can't have instances, and y'all all know, one of the judges was attacked. We can't keep that and have that happen. But what concerned me was the sheriff come to my door with this piece of paper, and then it says supervisors of Nottoway County are ordered, real big, to show cause why mandamus should not issue. But it doesn't say anything about the time.
no, and he told me it's going to set time.
I know, but we can.
But-
roll
but-
with this.
but here's a good way to put it.
Change his mind.
But no, but look,
and get it to them.
look at it this way. This was the other thing. The 11th Circuit District is, I'm going by memory, Powhatan, Petersburg, Dinwiddie, Amelia, and Nottoway. Is it 5? Is it one more?
Right
Okay.
there, is it right there?
Yeah, I was
No,
right.
Prince
Anyway.
No, they're not.
But only one county is not brought the courthouse
To comply.
to comply with security and safety. And that's the problem.
Not a way to do it.
Nottoway is the only one that's not done anything.
At least you know you on there for how many years?
But he didn't get no push on
I
it.
didn't get no
They
push
didn't
on,
get no push on.
nobody
They
pushed
didn't get
me.
no push on it.
But you knew it wasn't complying.
I did,
Have you ever
no,
been
Miss
to
Gordon,
court?
I don't think you said that. I don't know.
You
Look,
probably did. Have
I
you
did
ever
not
been
know
to
us. I don't know about the
You've been
flood.
there, listen to a trial, now we can't take the court.
I went in the court.
But you didn't hear
I
no
was at a
trial.
Program, not a trial.
Have you ever been in the court, listen to a trial? I have.
I have not.
By the way, I didn't copy y'all on the letter I responded to Billy. I wish I'd have made it as sweet, short as y'all did. I didn't. But my sister was murdered in last week would make 24 years. I sat through midnight trial over at that court. The fact of the matter is they do squabble about security. As bad as I wanted to murder the man and had planned out to murder the man, which was a very immature thing at the time to do to kill my sister, I could not have done it. It could not have been done. I had to go through the security system. I could not get my weapon in the courthouse. I even went in the bathroom and looked at that. Now I might be talking too much, but I'm telling you like it is.
You're right, you ain't committed.
No, it was an immature thing to do. I was a young man. It was very immature. I could not have done it. Now, if somebody smarter than me, perhaps they could. But I did hear Sheriff Jones say that Judge Teague was very pleased, and you heard him, Bill, and you heard him, that he put people in the places of walls, as in laws.
Right.
You don't get much better than that. Now, that is for a short time, and it does tie up people in the courtroom. But I have sat in trials over there, and it's not as easy as one would think to attack that judge. You have to carry a weapon in there to do it. You can't get it in there. You can't get in the general district court. You got to go through the security system. We know that. We go in there. You can't get it in there. Nobody's coming in the back door. Nobody leaves the back door open. Now they got 2 salad courts, one already constructed, one being constructed. So it is getting better. That's the fact of the matter.
And that's what we've got to put together, the plan and the things that have been done. And that's to show cause, say, hey, Mr. Elder, what do you have? Mr. Elder can go through what we've done, what we've got budgeted, what we're doing next. And then this judge that's gonna be appointed, he's gonna decide. Okay, you guys are making progress. We're not gonna issue the mandamus. You guys are
Well, that's why
working
I was
on it
so
as you
shocked to
can.
get this, because you had a list, and you have
Well, that's-
gone through
well,
a
that's what-
lot of the list.
But see, that doesn't, they don't know that.
Okay.
They don't know that we spent almost $1 million with ABM.
Steve, the first thing you need to do is contact the Department of Historic Resources and let them come up here and take a look.
See if we can expand off the side, add on to the back.
See what
again,
what the possibilities are.
And tell us the court's right,
Look-
like you said.
But look at the cover letter on this thing again. And I am. I mean, we gotta figure out, are we gonna build it, are we gonna add on to the courthouse, are we gonna build a new courthouse? What are we gonna do? I understand that. But the process is, that judge that they appoint has gotta meet with our lawyer, and I gotta sit in the room and listen to what they gotta say.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the first step. I mean, I gotta listen to what they gotta say. And then we gotta figure out, we're gonna do something like Buckingham did. You know, I keep going back, everybody says, you need to go to Buckingham, Steve, you need to see what Buckingham did, because they, you
I
know,
was up there
But-
2 weeks ago.
but
Pretty Taj Mahal, man.
But again, the previous board, y'all can say what you want to. Nobody came to us and said, you gotta do something to the courthouse. I wasn't on our radar. That never was on our radar.
Before y'all, it was went to Ronnie Roy when they added on to the back of the circuit court.
Right.
Which, if my memory serves me correctly, was right around 99 to 2001, right along in the time my sister got married.
Right.
That's when they had to add on to the back of it.
Right.
It was,
The
I don't know who- it was Thomas Warren. who did that.
When I got on the board, the biggest project was 3 gymnasiums. That was the big project, $200,000 a piece. Boom, boom, boom. So that was it wasn't nothing but a courthouse.
Well, and I saw a comment, and to each their own, people say what they want, I'm glad they can. But it was pointed out that Dickie and I hadn't done anything. Dickie and I can't do nothing. You know why, Dickie? We ain't 3.
That's fine.
That's the bottom line.
So go back to the list. I said, well, I did ask Judge Steve. I said, so I got the Ellis Sally Port to build. He goes, you need to stop.
You wasting money.
Right, just stop. Let the judge talk to your lawyer, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. So I sent something to Billy Coleman what I've done so far. Fix leaks. I've done this, that. I fixed
The
it.
handicap was an issue to the judge.
So
Yes, when we went down there that day and walked down the handicap ramp and got on the elevator and went right up in the courtroom, why is it not handicap accessible?
it is handicap accessible.
That's why I was in a quandary when the news story came out last week or so.
It
You can get in the courthouse handicap accessible.
You-
It is
right.
accessible.
it's bringing them, first of all, the jurors can't see the inmate that's in that room on the other side. So they take the inmate, put them back in the van, take this person, put them on
Remember, I went indoors, ain't supposed to open where the inmates are.
Well,
That's a
he
separate
gonna make sure they ain't gonna see. They're
Well,
not.
that's a separate door.
Anyway,
They gotta keep that door locked from elevators, gotta keep signs.
So here's what the dignity issue is. Why do I gotta ride an elevator in a wheelchair with an inmate ride, but yet you come to the front door?
Cause I can walk and you can't.
That's the difference.
I mean, I'm
between-
just saying,
Yeah,
they're
that's
not
right.
very accessible.
It's the truth.
So that's the difference between being compliant and being accessible.
That's right.
So I'm
accessible.
no different than you.
You're no different than me. And I'm no different than you.
Right.
We both got
But I'm
access
in-
to the inside
But
outside
I'm
the courtroom.
treated because I'm in a wheelchair.
They make everybody go through the elevator. They didn't say it's fair now. That's the way they want to look.
Well, I mean, that's another way to look at it. But that's what, and then the wheelchair, trying to get it in the
And that
In
goes
the
to
jury
and
box.
that goes to the square footage of Bo and I talked about when we were in the courthouse. It's just too tight.
It's
All
too
right, guys, but y'all, the other elephant in the room is you're beating your heads against a building. You got a piece of land sit back on.
But I'd rather expand on that one for a tenth of the
But-
price.
But look,
But that's attention.
so look, we're talking about improvements. So look,
Make that,
here's
courthouse
things,
a museum.
here's things that is probably close to $50,000 that won't on the list. Okay, that room is I still got to get this room dried out. You go behind that wall, it's bad. Okay, that's not on the list. I fixed two stairwells that walks to the courthouse. That slate was loose. People almost fell. All right, that was money. I had sewage over back there going on another man's land that I had to fix the pump and make sure it gets to the drain field. That wasn't on the list. You see, but I'm just letting you know, a lot of things was
due to things that hadn't been maintained or hadn't been repaired. And I don't know how long it was there. I have no idea. I just know when I reckon we had the post office that had no heat in January, no heat.
I remember
Right.
telling you
Okay. So we put a lot of money in things just
Well,
to
that's
try to.
and that's what we gotta show call.
Right. So anyway, but anyway, we're still
that.
on.
Moving along, right? Mr.
Solar
Taylor?
ordinance.
Okay.
I made some small changes, and I have talked to our solar opponent, Mr. Dickie Ingram.
I didn't know he was.
Solar opponent. Hey, Mr. Davis.
And
I'll proudly wear that
I know
shirt.
you do.
That's already said.
As most of you know, I've never been too interested in it. But I couldn't vote no on revenue the same night that I voted to raise the citizens' tax. That was not right. And so I said, okay, let me look at what this ordinance does and doesn't do. So everybody's got a copy?
Mhm.
I can, if you agree to these changes, then I'll get them to you in the email. Page 2, medium scale solar energy facilities. I'll make a change down at the bottom. I'll change it from 40 acres to 50 acres. Or 5 megawatts as required by parcel dimension or topography. And 5 megawatts is important because that's where the Code of Virginia lets you receive the site fee for allowing them to do it.
Now, let me ask the question, Bill, do you want anything bigger than 5 acres?
I don't believe the citizens do.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking to make sure that's the limit.
Well, I know that down in Sussex County, they had like a 300 acre in their ordinance. And they end up with applications for 5,000 acres. So the solar companies can apply under anything. Just remember that. We just have to know that as a board.
Now, on page 98 of your, we don't want to do anything, excuse me, Mr. Collins, but I want to make sure you understand. We don't want to do anything, that doesn't follow our comprehensive plan, which we should always keep paying attention to. On page 98, it says set a limit for total kilowatt production, Nottoway County via solar facilities that is no higher than a level of total kilowatts used in Nottoway County by all sources. So mathematically, you have to figure it out, and I think some of the folks in this room has figured out how many would that cap off. So it's actually in our comprehensive plan
And so
that we can
if
add
you
that.
had 6 50-acre projects, that would create about 300 megawatts. Is that right? No, 30 megawatts. That'd be just slightly more than what the county, we're like, it depends on which website you go to.
Right. So if you do it mathematically, and I
If you don't
haven't,
exceed, if you don't exceed 300 acres,
269.5 acres is what the top.
Total.
That's right. I mean, I haven't fact checked that, but that's
you could
pretty
say
close.
270, you could say 275.
Okay, I just wanted you to make.
So we're close. I
Okay.
mean,
I
doing
get you.
small projects.
Okay, I understand.
Page 3. Section 419.4. I'm just gonna add a sentence. The planning commission and board of supervisors has the ability to make exceptions on setbacks and acreage under panel based upon parcel dimension and topography. All fees become applicable and should be paid upon approval of the permit due monthly or the permit is revoked. And this is because nothing is square. We have skinny pieces of land and L-shaped pieces of land. And so if it comes in with these huge setbacks, and then on the north side, it's 300 feet. But it's but the planning looks good, and it's not a water quality issue. Then the planning commission or the board of supervisors can say, all right, you can be 300 on that.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's page 3. You go
Page
send it
3,
somewhere.
section 419. And these are just my thoughts to try to pass the thing, make a little bit of money. Number 4 on page 11. And third through there, it says increase setbacks from all public rights of way.
So you want the number 6 here?
You on page 11?
Page 11, number 4.
Number 4 is not on page 11.
It's on 10. You got a different
I
one.
got it.
Oh, okay.
That's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, but I think if you seeing some things. I couldn't
I couldn't find the previous.
I couldn't find them.
I didn't either.
Page, number
You gotta
10,
speak
page
up.
4, setbacks. Yeah, that's.
So it's on page 10.
Yeah,
Line
yeah,
item
yeah.
So they had added increased, and I would just add in there increased or decreased. Based on, they added site topography, but they didn't put in dimension. So again, because we have funny shaped parcels. Site topography or dimension. That's it.
All right, quick question. If, adjoining landowners. And the other thing is you gotta be within a mile of the line too.
It's gonna be,
Yeah.
these things are gonna be, you look at the transmission lines and the
Oh,
carry,
that
you
line.
know exactly where they're gonna be.
So you gotta be within a mile of them, so it's not like somebody could just throw one up anywhere.
Right.
So that's the reason why I said adjoining landowners, can they, I mean,
We talked about that. Now, already got your public hearing. Then there was discussion that you had to get permission to get the lesser setback.
well, what I'm saying is like if, let's say, all right, let's say Bo has built one and Daphne has a piece of property next to Bo. Are you gonna allow two sites that close together?
As long as different parts of land, I think you got that.
I agree.
And it's
Same.
and it's gonna be on the high tension wire, and they're gonna be beside.
That's right.
I think something we ought to consider too is the biggest, and somebody else brought this up to me, they got a very good point. The biggest reason the adjacent landowner don't want it, because they don't want to see it.
That's right.
So why can't we, put in the ordinance that you gotta have 120 foot of fast growing pine tree or whatever. it is.
I think it's in there, but.
I just
It's
seen a
actually
little bit
like bigger than that.
Yeah, it's a buffer.
You gotta have a wildlife buffer, landscape strip of at least 800 feet wide. Well, that would be, but it says.
but that could be grass and flowers.
Right, you gotta have-
It needs to be where they can't see it.
Right,
Put in the application.
Right, what page you on?
What about a
Yeah.
fence?
you look over here, vegetative buffer.
In other words, the change that he made
They
allows
got a
Well, they gotta have a fence around.
allows the fluctuation.
You can't see
If they,
I think it'd
if
be
they,
Oh, it's
something
been
that.
delayed.
But see, you gotta have,
to
way
be
I
decreased
understand it is,
according to the parcel.
you gotta have the fence around panels, but then you gotta have the buffer outside of that.
That's what I need. That's what I think.
The strict ordinance remains, except for those two little changes. But it gives us the ability to receive a project that said, yeah, listen to the neighbors. Everybody's like, yeah, fine.
See, you help me out here, man. So make sure I'm writing my brain in there.
Well, I've got some
We-
questions
we-
after you.
Okay, so we said we wouldn't need another public hearing if we reduce something. That's what we said, right?
That's right.
Or substantial changes.
A substantial change. Is increasing the acreage a substantial change?
Yes.
I would think
From
so.
40 acres to 50 acres?
That's my question. That's why, I'm just asking the question.
We want to find out in court.
I mean, you're doing it by 1/5, which.
Hey, it don't hurt to have a
Okay,
public hearing.
100%.
It don't hurt to have a public hearing.
Okay.
Because you can call that 20, yeah, you can call that 20% increase.
That's what they did call it.
Yeah.
The last time.
Well, now, if y'all wanna throw some things out here, something I got to throw out there. And blessings to you, Mr. Amy. 800 feet from adjacent property line. I know we're gonna take it case by case, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the exact same number of feet within hog
What?
house. For the hog house.
It's about 1,000, then you have 800 and stuff like that. It's a variable, but you're right though.
And
Mr.
so that
Smith.
tells the people that you ain't putting no solar right here.
Well, that was a
I
problem.
was talking to Sam Coleman today up in Princeton when he got in 4 hog houses. He said they're a whole lot better than chicken houses. And I got chicken houses too. I said, I know, and they still operate, and the chicken houses ain't. Sad but true, but they was good to the boys for a long time.
That's right.
And we need something back, and we're getting something back. But 800 foot is just,
Well, that was the purpose of it, Bub.
I know, for the hog houses too.
What I'm saying is, it says a buffer, these are talking about surface water buffer. In other words, if you want to put one on the Nottoway River,
Then you
we
gotta
want
move
you
back
to
up to
get the
15.
heck away,
Yeah, I
away
agree.
from the river.
I totally agree.
See what I'm saying?
But it says a distance of at least 800 feet from adjacent
Even
property
inside
line.
a river within the project area or identified site may be increased or decreased by up to 400 feet. I mean,
Where
you
you at?
can, again, you can, right here, if you
I'm
read that right
on
there.
But I'm right here. See, I'm at the 800 feet from
Oh.
the adjacent property
That's right. Well, that's what we're talking, that's what
That's
Bill's
same-
talking about.
That's the same thing with Hope.
Right, that's what Bill's talking about. We're looking at,
But you gotta remember, you're gonna have a public hearing. And so if the project comes in and it says it's 500 feet, 650 feet, 200 feet, 800 feet, nothing is square in this county. You'd have to have 1,000 acres to put 800 foot setbacks in.
That's exactly right.
So
If it was square.
that one sentence,
that was the plan, Bo.
I know, same thing with the whole guy. In rural Nottoway County, no whole guy.
I've not talked to anybody that wants thousands and thousands and thousands.
And I don't want me,
Except for Mr. Hall.
Mr. Who?
Hawthorne. We don't talk to him, he talks to us.
Mr. Chair, Bill, are you finished, Ms. Collins? Are you finished?
I think,
Okay, I have a question for the budget for a while, quite honestly. So if we're gonna say, are we gonna limit, we're going to limit each site, each parcel to 5 megawatts, correct? Okay, so how many acres did y'all say?
It's roughly 50.
roughly 50
Okay.
acres, but you
That's
might
on the
be,
panel.
60 acres
Okay.
because you got the pieces.
Right. Okay, my point is, what's gonna prevent somebody from subdividing a large piece of land into like 200?
I thought the same thing when we first started talking about it.
See, that's the problem,
part
and
of
we
the
have not,
LLC and
we
do
have
another
not
part.
addressed that, and I don't think we should. If we're gonna say it's per parcel, it's gonna be 5 megawatts, are y'all gonna say, tell them, if that land goes up for sale next door, you gonna tell that man or that woman that they can't put solar
I
there?
agree with
That's what we were just talking about.
Okay,
You
but
know,
we have to think about that.
But what Greg said, the first thing is if I got a 200 acre parcel and I want to put half in the LLC or half in my wife's name and I keep the other half, well, then I should, if I can meet setbacks, I should be able to put 50 acres.
Yeah.
up.
And you could do it
And
in
then
a,
next thing you know, we got us 100 acres,
yeah, and
Big timber company's
they
gonna
could
look
do
at
a
that.
family
That's fine.
subdivision too, though.
right?
Okay, so there's these variables, and I just.
Well, couldn't you say if it was in so many years,
5 years.
it's got to be 5
Well,
years?
Slugger would disagree with me, but, I'm sitting here and he is. So,
I know when they cut,
that's what's worrying me about the Solonescu
when my
side.
grandfather died, when they cut the farm at Sussex. No non-family member could own a piece of that ground for 10 years.
Was it 10 years in Sussex? I think it varies. It might vary by county, but we have to be cognizant of these potential issues there. Because you cannot create a perfect zoning ordinance. That's just fact.
Well, and I
But
guess
someone's going to exploit it.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Part of that process, I guess, would be to say, did this parcel recently switch hands and who did it switch hands from?
And is the solar already there?
Yeah.
So you can, if it goes in front of public hearing, you can deny that because of the
That's right.
purpose, right?
Because you're not,
You're not a lawyer, no.
you're talking about possibly 6 sites. You want to spread it as much as you can. Instead of one person, put up 6 sites.
Well, we have 3 people, or I think that I know of, 3 or 4 that are interested in 3 citizens.
Yeah.
Or 3 citizens and 1 out of town, out of the county.
Yeah. 1, 2,
So you got
3,
19 acres.
right?
This Scott, 400 acres behind the school.
Yeah.
What
Tatum.
they own. Tatum's got 250
Mhm.
acres.
Rocky Ford, that area.
Yeah.
He's Rocky Ford. That's
And
it. So there's three citizens that want to use, so 2 citizens and 1 out of county resident.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to throw.
Let's not take it.
wrench
No, I
in
totally
there.
agree.
I didn't want to go back to the permission of the adjoining land. You already got public hearing. And I said to Dickie on the phone, Norfolk Southern ain't calling anybody back.
no.
So if you don't hear from the neighbors, that means it's okay.
Mhm.
So you can send a letter
That's right.
and they don't respond.
See, here's what I worry about too, Bill. The one you're talking about, that's not gonna be 5 megawatts.
No.
They're gonna get nothing out of that.
Correct.
Who ain't getting that up?
The
County,
19.
the county won't get to site it.
They won't get the site.
We'll get to 1,300.
Oh, because it ain't.
Well, maybe they would if they go back, because he's got 100 and some, what's he got over there? How many acres?
Who, that one?
Like,
No,
What's he got over?
it's like, it's not that big. It's just, it's
Only
like,
40 some acre total, 48 acres.
That's
It's not
one of
big
the
at all.
problematic sites, the arrangement of it.
It's problematic in the size and the arrangement, but it's not a bad
No,
As
I'm
far as
with you
bothering
there.
me.
Right.
That's something
Well, I-
pretty neat. They were putting solar panels over top of parking lots.
And
Yeah,
that's,
that's what I
that would be a
think.
great thing to do.
Pretty neat.
And that's, I talked to Bo about that.
What
What if, and I'll just throw this out there, what if we say you can't put it on timberland or row crops, but you gotta put it 12 feet in the air on top of pasture,
And that's
You
stuff
can't-
raised on leaf.
and you can't grade it off.
Can't take,
You
put
can't move the
topsoil
dirt.
off. But see, they can't erect it, can't put topsoil off, at least where they
Well, see,
Froze off.
most of the people, most of the counties have, if it's timberland or prime agricultural land, you can't do it.
Yeah, they might have easements and stuff.
Well, the percentages.
And I can always
Yeah,
get more,
yeah.
I can get information from Sherry Buttrick, with the Virginia Outdoors Foundation, because she told me if they can work on conservation easements for folks. who
How far
don't
away
want-
from coming to an agreement on it? That's fine.
on the solar. Close. What's Knight's first name up there? I want 7 acres of that yard. Oh, it's Don Knight, but it's not.
Don,
They ain't coming up at that.
maybe Donald.
John Knight,
But that's also in the conservation district.
that's right. See, that's in the conservation district.
So.
Which is
supposed to be-
That there
Well,
are.
it's kind of mislabeled.
In a agricultural no.
See, that's what I'm saying. His site's in the conservation district.
Which was supposed to be where a place where small residential could go. The name conservation is not recommended.
It's not, it's not, it's totally misleading.
It should be protecting vulnerable ground, because you have your resilient land and vulnerable lands. And that would be your wetlands, your streams, your year-round streams, your vulnerable streams, things like that.
They named it that, but they should have.
Oh, and I've been wondering that for years. It's just,
Yeah,
this
when
is
you
where
were-
all our development's going. A lot of it's ag, but also the C1 district.
Well, that was with Ronnie, or was it Ronnie? Who was up here? Who spoke? Ronnie on?
Ronnie on.
He was on the board. He talked about that they created the conservation district so that there was a place for small residential to go to stay out of ag. So it shouldn't have been named conservation.
So get back to the Knight place up here. If it's only 47 acres and they want to put 1,900 panels, but this stuff, there's no way they get that done.
There's no siting agreement.
There's no signing agreement, but the board has permission, planning and board have permission to say, okay, it's a good plan.
But no siting.
The counties will get it.
What else we got, Mr. Chairman?
Well, you got, the IDA.
So what am I gonna do? All right, well, let me just make sure I'm tying this thing up.
It's a-
You want this
Go to public hearing.
ready to go to the public?
Take it to public.
Going back to the setbacks, the project shall be set back a distance at least 800 feet from all public right of way, 1,500 feet from habitable dwelling, the distance of 800 feet from adjacent property line. Waivers may be sought by the applicant to reduce the setbacks adjacent. So that's the card out.
That's right.
The waiver.
That's right. They still come to play.
Okay.
Which
But
that ain't
public-
in, that ain't in the whole house thing yet. I know we're not talking about the whole house, but just out of curiosity, can they come apply? They can't do it.
I don't think so. I think those are hard set, but I think you can always go and review an ordinance or zoning matter too, as a board of supervisors.
I just think it's hard to call it rural Nottoway County when it ain't so rural. It's gotta be a certain species of livestock that you can't have.
So,
Should be nice to have internet.
so we make the changes that Mr. Collins recommended. He'll send me an email stating changes, we'll put the changes in and put it up for public hearing in August. So August, 2 public hearings would be solar
And
and
it gotta go back to the planning commission.
I don't believe
I
so.
don't believe so.
No, just the board.
I
Would you recommend 2, or what do you think?
well,
They spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, I know.
We don't want them to feel stepped upon,
Right.
but that's why I put in there planning on board and boards.
the committee that met came up with this, with Mr. Zodi's help. But a lot of time, an awful lot of time. And to throw it out and change it, I think they ought to have an opportunity to speak to it.
Just review.
They will tomorrow.
Yeah, just review it and look at it, and I mean,
Can you take that to them tomorrow? Planning
Then
commission?
we get to show it to
meet
them.
tomorrow.
Just amend the agenda and add that item.
No, we can do that.
I think,
Right.
And you can get a consensus of,
Just get a consensus.
Just with the three little changes that I made.
Yeah, can you send those to me too?
You know, copy.
Okay, thank you.
I think we need to, really be on our toes, because the thing about splitting up parcels and stuff like that, that scares me.
The, Dr. Moore over at
I agree with you.
he's on the board of supervisors, and they had that Lily Pond solar, it was 2008. Big siting agreement. And he looked at me and he said, well, you know, we're looking at it, and he said, but I feel like that can was gonna stick his nose under the tent, and pretty soon you had a whole can. So just know we're dealing with folks that may not always say what they mean.
Oh, exactly.
They're gonna find loopholes.
Money is money, man. When they come at you, they, you know.
So what we're shooting for, what you did, I shouldn't say shooting for. All right, so the reassessment, public hearing, reassessment 4 years, August. So hopefully after the planning commission just looks at it, you know, get a consensus. They
Oh,
look.
there's 3 of them, Blake too.
Suppose I get,
You're exactly right.
suppose I get some kickback. You come back to having this public hearing on this Thursday night?
No.
August.
No, we got time. We'll fill it out.
That's a lot of August. That's gonna be a tough beat, Mary. That blight. Nah, that's gonna be bad.
Get on now.
Yeah. No, the IDA, what you have
We
on
said
that?
we're gonna, you said we're gonna do the IDA.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
on the well
I mean, I get,
Me and you both, I'm burning up.
y'all got something like hungry. I mean, I got hungry.
Me too, I've been hungry all day.
All right, so you asked me we're trying to get the IDA back together. It's 7 members, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, make sure I'm right, 7 members. Mr. Tony Ellett is willing to serve again, Mr. Robert Timberlake is willing to serve again, and Mr. Dennis McCarthy is willing to serve again. Mr. Dennis McCarthy is District 5, Robert Timberlake, I believe, is District 3, and Tony Ellett is District 1. I need 4 more people. And the reason why we need to get IDA, the biggest reason is because to build an animal shelter, I need to borrow their money that's in our account. So I need 4 people.
So Bo and I can bring you one, and then
Yeah, we can do one each.
and then we're gonna have to, whoever we can get from the other, from wherever in the county, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. She would not call me back. Yeah, so she never called me back, and I left multiple messages and got the right phone number of somebody. So, the only one that finally just said no to me because I worried him to death is Mr. Hawks.
Okay.
He said, no, I'm gonna leave it up to you, Mr. Bowen. Good luck to you.
All right.
And they need to know that they have to tell their financial. That's one
That's a
part.
big blockade.
That's a blockade. They gotta do a financial.
Statement of economic
Statement.
interest.
Well, I ain't got
Well, I
none,
saw
so I ain't worried about it.
someone pointed to the IDA for the town of Creek.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, that's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Collins, you have any comments?
Always just good discussion, and like everybody talks, and try to figure things out. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Mr. Ingram?
I'm like Ms. Norton. My dog started barking. I went out and looked on the back deck, and there was the sheriff with a piece of paper. And I'm like, I can't be on jury duty. I'm too old. So that wasn't what it was. But we just got, it's something we got to work through. Like Steve says, see what the judge that's appointed says, and go from there, I guess. I think we're making progress on these things, and we just got to keep going. And I really think we need to emphasize to the citizens that they can start paying their taxes now, and not have a big lump sum at the end in December. If they want to put some in now, they can put it in now. And the treasurer will accept it, I know. She said she would.
All right,
Revenue will.
all right, Ms. Norton?
Just a lot of work ahead. It's not gonna ease up. Just like Morgan told us, it's not gonna be easy, but we're in it for the long haul. We gotta do it. We'll say I did attend the 180th anniversary at Spring Hill, and that was a really nice night. I got to sit with Delegate Tommy Wright, and it was just a beautiful night. Sorry, I missed it. It was really nice.
All right, Mr. Toth?
I just enjoy working with the board, and we're gonna get through this ordeal with the complex to satisfy the appointed judges' requirements and all. We're gonna do it at a reasonable rate, I hope, to the people who just gonna end up paying for it. whether that be some through grants or none through grant. The last thing I'd like to say is remembering the people that was involved in the attempted assassination on the former president. Both him, as well as the other family, as well as the shooter. He had family too. And I think we all need to remember all that.
All right, and board members, I reiterate y'all's sentiment. We know we got a lot to do. I think we got great staff in place that's gonna help guide us and get us there. And if not, we know we can reach out to others, and we know we got a good team, whether it's not just here, but through VACO and other sources. We'll do what we gotta do, and we're gonna do what we gotta do. I believe in everybody here, and don't let anything deter you from doing what we know we need to do, and just keep pushing forward. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor, signify by standing up. Good night.
Good night.
where you getting blue crabs from?
North Carolina.
Dickie, I mean, y'all probably don't know Rock Radford passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah,